a tasting booth right near the entrance of the store. And we either put out 6 different flavors of jam or 24 different flavors of jam. And we removed all the normal flavors like strawberry or, orange marmalade. And now we looked at 2 things. First, in which case were people more likely to stop and sample some jam? Now, when you looked at people's likelihood to be attracted to the choice display, more people stopped when there were 24 on display. 60% stopped when there were 24, as compared to 40% who stopped when there were 6. Those numbers seemingly add up to 100%, but they're actually different populations. Now, of the people who stopped when there were 24 on display, only 3% of them actually bought a jar of jam. Of the people who stopped when there were 6 on display, though, 30% of them actually bought a jar of jam, suggesting that although people were initially more attracted to the larger display, when it came down to them actually making a choice, they were more likely to make a choice when they saw fewer rather than when they saw more. Well, what is this? What's going on here? What happens to us when we're choosing from a smaller rather than a larger set? At Columbia University, we set up this laboratory in which we offered people one of their 2 most beloved things to have. Now, of course, the number 1 beloved thing that all students love to have is beer. We didn't give them that. We gave them something almost as good, which we gave them chocolate. And so we set up a laboratory experiment in which people came into the laboratory and they either got to choose one of 6 different Godiva chocolates or one of 30 different Godiva chocolates. Now, you could pick any chocolate you wanted to eat, and the only thing you had to do is pick your chocolate, tell us how delicious it was, how happy you are with the chocolate that you've chosen to eat, whether you regret it, those kinds of things. And then, as you're walking out of the laboratory, remember we just gave you a fun thing to do. As you're walking out the door, we say, hey, do you want to get some money for what you just did, or would you like a box of chocolate? Here's what we found. The same chocolate chosen from a selection of 6, people felt was more delicious than if it had been chosen from 30. So we matched people on the ones they had chosen, and the one that was chosen from 6 was considered to be more delicious than the one that was chosen from 30. And those who chose from 6 were far more likely, about 4 times more likely, to go for the box of chocolate as opposed to money. But it's actually a too much choice problem. And we see this problem affect us in all sorts of different choice domains, including domains in which it really goes against our best self-interest to choose not to choose. Essentially, we find 3 negative consequences that come from offering people too much choice. The first is the more choices people have, the more likely they are to delay making a choice or choose not to choose. They procrastinate. And as we saw with the 401k, they do this even when it goes against their best self-interest. Second, the more choices they have, the more likely they are to make worse choices. Now, we see this with kids. If you give them too many choices in terms of how many math problems or how many essay topics they're gonna work on, their performance drops. You see this with employees. You give them too many choices about how to do their tasks, how to do their job, their performance drops. You see this with healthcare decisions. People become worse at making healthy choices if they have too many choices. We also saw this with the case of the financial decisions that people make. The third negative consequences that comes from offering people too many choices is that we're less happy with that which we chose. It's not just with chocolates that we're less satisfied. Think about the TV industry and one of the big crises that they're having. We have more TV shows today than we've ever had before. We have more TV channels than we've ever had before, and yet we are all less satisfied with TV than we've ever been before. And same thing goes for really important decisions. Dating, for example. The more people we date, the less satisfied we are with any given day. The more job offers we receive, the less satisfied we are, the less committed we are to any job offer that we accept. Understand that your job as a choice provider is not to give people what they want. It's to help them learn what they want. They are using the choosing experience to discover what they want. What is that right fit for them?